Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to the next part of our segment here on the mid morning show at Salam Media. Thank you for joining me. I'm your host, Zaheerah Bham-Ismail. My next guest is someone whose name is well known in our community, and I'm so excited to meet her because today I finally get to put a face to the name. Auntie Shaida Qazi, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to the studios. Auntie Shaida is the director at Sanka Nishtara Recovery and Wellness Center. Assalamu alaikum and welcome, Auntie Shaida.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and to all your listeners as well. And Sister Zaira, shukran for this opportunity. I'm finally glad to have met you as well.
Alhamdulillah. Auntie Shaida, your name is so well known in the community for the work that you do, specifically with substance abuse and addictions. How did you even get started in this role?
I think in the field of substance abuse, let's say it was by default or it was just a chance, but
Mm,
as we know, I think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts out everything. He's got a plan for everything. It was actually the year 2011 when, I was a former councillor for the
mm,
ANC in Ward 9 Indonesia, and we had elections in 2011, and we lost the elections, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately. This was where I was rooted to. And I just, being on the board at Nishtara at that time, um, I was just asked to step in because the then manager had left and they wanted somebody just to step in and assist because I was unemployed. And I thought, okay, no problem. I'll just help them out until they find somebody. It was basically, they said about 2 to 3 weeks until they advertise and find somebody. And I don't know, I'm
and you
still here,
never left.
13 years and more
Alhamdulillah.
plus. Yeah, alhamdulillah. So that's why I
Alhamdulillah.
say that was Allah's plan for me to be in this field.
Yep,
Uh,
I absolutely, and I think you're perfectly suited to be able to do the work that you do. Alhamdulillah. And Ishada, this whole week we've been discussing abuse, its impact on families, on individuals, and I know that we talk about substance abuse, and I know when Ishtara started all those years ago, it was a subject that people felt, oh, it doesn't affect me, it doesn't affect my home, but we actually now can see that, thank goodness, organizations had started then because this problem is growing at an astronomical rate and we're seeing it. I wanted some input from you because I think the perception of it being only a male problem is really far gone because I'm sure that you're seeing it because we're seeing addictions with males and with females.
Yes, you're right. Firstly, I think I will be failing if I do not acknowledge and appreciate this legacy that was left
Mm,
by the people that started. They had the foresight to start an organization like this. Be as it may, that it started out of traumatic consequences. But I think had this organization not be here, we would have been really, really lost today. And you're right. People may be thinking that it's not their problem, but also the stigma that people are shy away from this thing. And that is, I think, that has worsened the situation because still, until today, stigmatism still exists
mhm.
where people feel shy because I think maybe this is mostly due to lack of knowledge or ignorance that substance abuse has become a disease that is prevalent in almost every home. I can say that, and I think we're
Absolutely.
seeing that firsthand, and not male dominated anymore, not restricted to poorer communities.
Mm.
It's uh, it's everywhere now, and you're
Uh,
right. The concern, okay,
no,
if I
no,
may.
go ahead. Please continue. Please
Okay.
continue.
I think the concern is how much it is emerging within females and mostly mothers. It's become sort of a family thing now, where we find both husband and wife in addiction, and even with mothers, where they have little children and all that. But substance abuse has taken over, and when one looks at the situation of the kids, it's really, really heartbreaking.
And Antishada, I think you're mentioning something so pertinent because this is not just abuse. When people think, oh, substance abuse, it has to be a recreational drug. When you're talking about substance abuse amongst mothers, it's also a prescription medication. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think maybe the correct term would be substance use disorder
Mm-hmm.
because it's like you're saying prescription medication, and that prevails. The prescription medication, which is, and by the way, the most difficult to treat, is prevalent amongst a lot of housewives, a lot of females, I can say. whether it's due to depression, it's loneliness, it's neglect, or maybe sometimes just being overwhelmed by the daily lives. We get younger people coming in who are now addicted to prescription medication because they just can't handle the hecticness of looking after family. They've got two or three kids or four kids, and the way life has become so hectic that it's definitely affecting our mental state today.
And Tishana, I think this is a conversation that I'd like to pursue a little further because we don't talk about that often enough. We don't talk about is there help that we can get because very often with women in those particular situations, we get told it can't be an addiction because it's medication. So I'm not addicted to it. I'm just taking what I need for my pain or for my anxiety or to stay calm or to get through the day. But the truth of it is an addiction and it does have harmful effects and consequences for people around them. When we're talking about seeing this more, how do we combat it? Because I mean, for me, I would think that the first port of call would be the fact that our pharmacists are giving away or giving out medication without actually have documented prescription from doctors.
Absolutely, Zaira, you're right, because when you look at how easily medication is available, and how people are pharmacy hopping, especially with prescription medication, people are getting. I've got people that have come in that someone might be living in Mayfair, but they actually recruit getting from pharmacies right out in the West Rand and even further afield, where they go from one chemist to another. And I think this has been our call for a number of years now, where pharmacies need to have a regulatory board or something, some sort of system put in place where they can quickly detect, like if you go to your pharmacy, they have your history on record, whatever, if you're a regular patient. Um, but somehow there need to be a link between all pharmacies where they can monitor to see this person has already received the script and now they're coming to us. But also, unfortunately, on the other hand, it is like, and I say this with all due respect, whatever, it's just like people come in, they give a script, we're making money out of it, so who
Absolutely.
cares?
And Tishara, you know what? I don't even think it's with due respect. Most disrespect is intended for those people who do that because they don't realize that they are enabling an addiction. They are not helping those people. And not only are they affecting an individual, they're affecting families and a
Entire
community
family.
that has absolutely. And we've seen this so often. And I think there has to be a level of accountability with those pharmacists who think they're doing a favor for their friend by just giving them the medication without any form of prescription. Who's monitoring, who's overseeing, who's doing oversight on that?
There isn't, and that is the sad part. That is what we're worried about. It's so easily available, like I said, and people even sharing medication because I know I can get from my pharmacy, so it's fine. You, my friend, I'll give you some. I'll get more next week or whatever. It's people. The poor education around this thing is also a critical thing, and we try to create more awareness, but maybe through forums like yours, if we could be given the opportunity where we can run maybe
Mm,
a regular talk shows on this and make people understand how difficult it is. Because even calling up group meetings or something, or people, the apathy amongst our people to attend these things, people shy away. I think
absolutely.
we did a program once, and when I asked people just to look into their handbags, you'll be surprised at how much medication there was, and they weren't even fully aware of what they're carrying in their bags.
And I think this is so important as us as family members to notice this, to see it around us, and to also acknowledge when we have a problem. Because those days of also saying, oh, you know what, it's not my child, I'm going to have to cover it up. I don't want anyone to know that my child has an addiction problem. We way past that. Because if you want to save your child, you want to save your spouse, you want to save the mother in your home or the friend, you actually have to actively take steps to do it. And Ishada, we talk about the challenges of us not discussing it. We're talking about the challenges of pharmacists who are literally unscrupulous in the way they're managing their ethical behavior. I think this is important because many people don't understand that it doesn't have to be, I'm taking drugs and I'm passed out. Or I'm not, I'm lying on the street somewhere. You talking about women who are in homes, who are running homes, who are managing their children and taking medication.
That's right. And we're talking about functional addicts. There are people who can still manage to keep a job done.
Mm.
As long as they get their fix, they can still manage to go to carry on as long as they want to.
So, Auntie Schneider, how do we manage it? What is our way forward? How do we as a community, because for so many years later, since Nishtara has started, the fact that we're still having this discussion at another level of dealing with addiction is really disheartening. How do we as a community take our responsibility so that we can do right, so that your organization gets to do the work that they're able to do?
I think through forums like yours, and I think I must commend you for having this talk today. But I think it's through forums, through media, and through social media and all that. We just need to run more regular workshops and regular information sessions with community members. Because Zaira, the other thing I just wanted to go into is like
Mm,
while we say substance use disorder uh, is a disease, that is what we need to get more and more people to understand and to accept. But also, when we look at prescription medication, addiction to prescription medication, we need to look at where it stems. So like, if you look at normal, not normal, but maybe to say that people using hardcore drugs, look at that type of addiction, where it stems from. We look at all that, right? We're looking at it, we're facing it, where this person has come from, the circumstances that have led to it. What we're missing out, I feel, and especially with women, in terms of mothers, in terms of widows, in terms of people who have had losses. We're
mm,
missing out that factor that these people did not get the necessary, maybe trauma
mm,
counseling or necessary support in that early stages, or they suffered a major loss and they don't know how to deal with it. That is the one area also where the one way where they turn to something to get something to sleep or to get something to take the pain away, and that leads to an addiction. Because once
absolutely.
you're using something more and more every day when you're looking out to that, no, I just can't handle this pain. I need to take something. I need to take a stelpin. I need to take um,
Mm,
tripolino, something just to help me sleep or something. That's already an addiction. We need to understand that.
absolutely.
So
And
that is
Auntie
where,
Shida,
yeah,
as you're
I
saying,
think that is
we
where
don't
our
allow.
wellness program comes in. Sorry,
Yes. No, no, no. I
that
think
is,
as you're rightfully saying, this is
yeah,
where we end up having issues because we don't allow people to grieve properly. We just want people to
yes.
make sabr, cover it up, be quiet, and continue. And like you're saying, people actually don't have the capacity to manage a lot of their current situations. Tell me very quickly about your wellness program, please.
That is why we have the wellness program, and that is targeted. It doesn't mean if you look at our name, it says recovery and wellness, but it's holistic. It's not only targeted at hardcore substances. You can be recovering. You can be seeking wellness from any trauma in your life, what you've been hurt about. You can't cope. But even for people who have loved ones in addiction, that alone is also a situation and that they can't cope with. That is where our wellness comes in. And we run those sessions separately where we look at just you and your well-being and how to help you with those sessions during those sessions.
Fantastic. Auntie Shaida, I really wish we had more time because I think this is an entire segment that needs to be unpacked for what it's worth. But Jazakallah for joining us on air. How are people able to get in touch with you if they recognize they have a problem, if they know there's a family member who has a problem, even if it's their mum or their aunt or their sisters? How are they able to get in touch with you to be able to get the required help that they need?
No problem. They can visit our website.
Mhm.
Otherwise, they can contact us on 011-854-5989, and a WhatsApp number is 065-558-5439. But also to let everybody out there know, I know people think when they look at the rehab center, then they just think it's so much money, how we can afford. Let me tell you that Nishtara does have a subsidy program where we can assist everybody, whether you can afford or not afford. We have a subsidy program for people that we can assist you with. So don't hesitate. If you have a problem, if your loved one has a problem, please feel free to contact us. We will try and help you to beat your addiction or any wellness problem that you need to get.
Auntie Shaida Kazi, an absolute honor and a privilege to be sharing the platform with you, Director at National Nishtara Recovery and Wellness Center. Just to repeat those numbers, 011-854-5989, or you can WhatsApp them on 065 558 5439. Auntie Shaida, Jazakallah for sharing your wealth of wisdom. I do hope we're able to reach those individuals that require the help and that may we be able to recognize it, help them and help them in the healing journey. And also, may we hold people accountable for causing more harm within our communities rather than helping. Jazakallah, Auntie Shaida. To our viewers, stay tuned. We'll be back after the ad break with our last segment. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.